A mythical fire phoenix was unfortunately caught in an iron net. A man planned to take it back to offer to the king, but the pitiful phoenix begged the man to spare its life, and then it shed a tear, burning hot. The phoenix's sad appearance moved the man with compassion, and he immediately released the heavy net, allowing the phoenix to regain its freedom. As if reborn from the ashes, it looked back at the man with gratitude, then flapped its mighty wings and soared into the clouds. Legend has it that the phoenix symbolizes good luck, and in this moment, it left behind a wish for good fortune, promising smooth sailing and fulfillment of desires. In order to repay the man's kindness, the phoenix left behind a feather from its body, which could protect the man from harm in critical moments. However, Afanti, who failed to capture the phoenix, was captured by the king. Afanti had wanted to present the phoenix feather to prove himself, but the feather was now dull and lackluster, looking worse than a chicken's feather, which caused everyone present to burst into laughter. The king thought Afanti was mocking him, so he ordered Afanti to be executed on the spot. Just as the executioner raised his axe, the feather suddenly burst into flames, and it was only then that everyone looked up and realized that the phoenix had sensed Afanti's danger and rushed to his aid in time. Then it landed above the town, and the warm firelight instantly enveloped the entire town. At this moment, everyone finally believed that Afanti had not been lying, and they called him a hero. The king had no choice but to award Afanti publicly in front of everyone, but he harbored resentment in his heart. Not long after, the king issued a command, ordering Afanti to wake up the ice princess from the peak of the snowy mountain, and bring her back to marry as his queen. The journey was perilous, and the king believed that Afanti would surely die along the way, unaware that Afanti had a magical donkey as his helper. Before long, they arrived at the peak of the snowy mountain, but the ice-locked gate blocked Afanti from moving forward. Just as Afanti was at a loss, the phoenix feather burst into flames again, then directly penetrated the ice gate, and in the blink of an eye, the thick ice gate instantly melted into water. The short-limbed donkey was washed away and finally froze into an ice sculpture, stuck on the cliff. Afanti carefully entered the ice palace and finally met the legendary ice princess. The phoenix feather awakened her from her slumber, but upon learning that the king who wanted to marry her was an old man, the ice princess immediately declared that she would rather die than go back with Afanti. She then pulled Afanti and jumped off the cliff. Luckily, the donkey flapped its wings in time and managed to save them. Afanti successfully brought the princess back to the palace, but the princess refused to marry the king on the grounds that she was missing her grandmother's ocean heart ring. Upon learning that the ring had been swallowed by a giant whale, the king immediately summoned Afanti, clearly indicating that the task of retrieving the ring had fallen on Afanti again. The scene shifts, and Afanti is flying over the vast sea on a little horse, but he is knocked down by a flock of seagulls. When the little horse pulls Afanti back up, he is startled to see a supersized whale, tightly chained to the surface of the sea.